Let's talk about cold outreach reply rates. And this is what I want to show you. Those are the results from our own campaigns that we run for Extrovert. It's cold outbound campaigns on LinkedIn. And this is an A/B test that we did recently for 1,000 prospects across three different personas: CEOs and founders, agency owners, and sales leaders. And we compared two groups. The first group was warmed up before we reach out to them with comments. So we approached them not being strangers. And the other one was just, a cold pitch. So for CEOs, the result was 8% versus 50. For agency owners, it's 11 versus 53. And for sales leaders, it's 26 versus 57. So the results speak for themselves. It is a really effective strategy. And it's kind of obvious because if you approach someone and they already know your face, they already know you, it's much easier to build rapport. It's much easier to get a reply, right? But let's talk about how to make this process systematic, because usually the reason people don't do it is that it's very tedious and it takes a lot of work. And I'll cover some tactics how to make it a part of the like semi-automated outbound outreach process. So before we jump into details and tools, let me just give you a helicopter view of the whole process and explain the logic behind this. So here are the phases of the process, and the first phase is warming up. This is where we build rapport. This is where we kind of make sure that the prospect knows our face before we even reach out. It can be 1 or 2 weeks on average when we comment on their posts. For enterprise or limited total addressable markets, it can be longer, like 4 weeks or even like several months. For large total addressable markets, you can go with a shorter period, like 1 week or 2 weeks. After that comes a connection request. We suggest to go with blunt connection request because it was repeatedly proven that blunt connection requests actually are getting higher acceptance rates than if you include the note in the connection request. The next phase is actually a waiting period. It is super often overlooked and it is very effective strategy. So after they accepted our connection request, we don't send a DM, we just wait. Can be as short as 3 days, it can be as long as 6 weeks. So there are several reasons to do this. So the first reason is we are giving them space to DM us first. And this is crazy. Actually, about 20% of prospects in our cold outreach campaigns DM us first, even before we send the first DM to them. Why does this happen? Because we commented on their stuff before we sent the connection request to them. And more often than not, they kind of checked our profile. They already understand who we are. They already know, what we are doing. And more often than not, they are just thankful because we supported their content. And more often than not, they say, like, thanks for your comments, glad to be connected. And this completely flips the script because now it's not a cold pitch. I haven't started the conversation. It's them who start the conversation, and it's much easier to handle it from there because it's not, the pitch slap. The second reason why this works is that it's a pattern interrupt, because people hate to be a row in your spreadsheet, a part of your sequence, right? And usually when you have the sequence, it's very predictable. It's connect, then it's a DM, right? If you break the pattern, if you give them a little bit of a room, and if you're just, send a connection request, and then you comment for a while, and then you post content for a while, and they see your content in the feed, they see your comments, it feels much more natural. To comment on your prospects consistently, we will be using the AI nurturing tool. It's called Extrovert. Essentially what it does, it builds a custom feed for you on LinkedIn with your prospects only, with their posts or with posts from other people they are likely to see. It summarizes those posts. It provides the draft for you for review. knowing your voice, knowing your style, knowing your context. Nothing is posted without your approval. You approve, you skip, or you modify the comment, and it allows you to build relationships with people at scale. To proceed with warming up prospects, create a campaign or just use a campaign that was automatically created when you signed up. And before we jump into prospects, double check the context that Extrovert fetched from your LinkedIn about you and about your company. This context is used in draft generation. The better the context, the better AI will generate drafts because it will know more things about you. After we're done with the context, we can go ahead and add our prospects in here. So you usually use the same list that you use in your outreach. We suggest to split this list in batches and make them bite-sized, not very long ones, like say 100, 200 prospects, and name them based on the date. Say outreach batch June number 1. And you can just paste your profile URLs or upload a CSV file in here. Some prospects that you upload will not be actively posted on LinkedIn, but Extrovert has a way to reach them regardless, indirectly. So what we do is we track other people that they react to, and we suppose that our prospect will see the content from those people because they previously reacted to their content. So they either are following them, or even if they aren't, LinkedIn algorithm will show them their posts. So in this example, Melis is likely to see Owen's post because Melis reacted to his content previously. And it makes sense for me to comment indirectly because it is a high chance that my prospect will see my comment under this post. So after you're done with your list, here comes the daily routine of nurturing your prospects. And here the consistency is the most important thing. That's why you need filters in the feed. So what you can do is you can use this filter and see only 1 or 2 posts coming from your prospects. This is because people post very unevenly. Some people will post once per day, some people will post once per 2 months. You don't want frequent posters to overwhelm your feed. The other thing that you can do is you can only focus on new prospects. So you can say, show me only posts coming from people that I haven't commented yet, have commented 1 time, or maybe have commented 2 times. So my goal is to comment at least 3 times before I reach out to them, right? And the other thing that you can do is you can choose the desired frequency. Here with just warming up before we reach out, I suggest to go with either every 3 days or every week. What will this filter do? It will hide all the posts coming from prospects if you commented within a week to their posts. So it kind of also protects you from over commenting for very frequent posters. So after you set those filters, the number of posts will substantially reduce, and you can just go through the feed and skim through the summaries, see if you like the draft. You can just hit approve, and this will be posted on your behalf on LinkedIn. If you want to do some suggestions, you can do it manually. The AI will learn about your voice more when you do more suggestions. And you can also use this AI customization where you can just tell the model what to do, like provide more context about yourself or disagree with the author and things like that. So in general, it makes this process much more easy and just much more fast. It's not automating it, but it's making it faster. So in our experience, the average rep can make 30-50 comments, spending like about 20-25 minutes per day. After that comes the initial DM and the sequence, follow-up sequence stage. You can automate this, you can make this fully manual. The sequence can be just a one step, super short sequence. It can be several, like 3, 4, 5 steps, spread out across, 1 month or 2 months. So what we suggest to do, what we think work the best, is to make your sequence longer, because you time actually plays in your favor. If you expose your prospects to your comments and to your content, this creates the engine of consistent touch points, and usually it results in much higher reply rates, opposed to you just put your sequence into the short period of just 10 days or 2 weeks. So you can play with it, you can experiment with it. What we also suggest to do is to start with a very short opener as a first DM, and not even the pitch, just maybe a question. It should feel like a continuation of your like light relationships that already was established in the comments or in your content, and transition it into the DM. Uh, a lot of people hate pitch slaps. So a lot of people will actually appreciate if your first DM would be no pitch from your side, just a question, just a DM to start a conversation. And after that, some people are not, some people are different, and some people are very, transactional. They don't like to, waste their time on just conversation with people they don't know. So they like to know your agenda. And for this, what we understood work really well for us is that you send a second message after a day, maybe 2 days, where you explain why you reach out. So the first message contains no information what I'm about to why I reached out. Just maybe a question. In our example, it's like, do you use LinkedIn as a medium for your outbound or sales process? And that's it, just a question. But my second message contains, like, I'm actually asking because I'm a founder of AI nurturing tool that can help. Maybe you are interested in a free trial or something like that. So we found out that this structure kind of pleases the both sides. The one side that doesn't like to be p-slapped, and the other side is the ones that really want your specific reason why you reached out. So now we need to push all those people that we warmed up to our outreach sequence, whether it's the tool, some outreach tool, or it's just the manual process of reaching out to them. So to do so, we can go to the prospect page, and we have also many filters here. So for example, we can go and say, just we want to reach out to people who had at least 2 or 3 touch points with us, right? So we will click like this, and we will filter only people who had 3 or more comments from me. The other thing what we can do is we can focus on people who don't even post, and that's why they haven't received any touch point with us, and we still probably want to reach out to them. So we can filter by prospect post frequency, and for really infrequent posters, or for people who don't post at all, we can also push them to our outreach sequence. A really important thing is that when your sequence is active, doesn't matter if it's manual or it's automated, you continue to nurture your prospects with comments, because this helps a lot to create those touch points that they need. And also, as I've said before, it allows your content to be targeted towards your prospects. So they see your content, and it creates a little bit of, even maybe you could call it a guilt, because if they ghost you in DMs, but you support their content and you are really thoughtful, and you really add something to the conversation, they kind of remember about you, and more often than not, I don't even follow up, and people reply to my old threads, old DM threads, just because I dropped a thoughtful comment on their posts. So, all right, we got a reply from our prospect. Good job. Now what? So now we need to manual close them, right? And we need a system to follow up, because actually, if you think about it, your sequence doesn't end with the reply. Your sequence ends when you got a demo, or even maybe after the demo, because you want to sell, right? So you need the separate system of consistently following up on the convos that already started with your prospects, and you don't stop nurturing. You continue with your comments, and you continue with your content, and those three pillars, content, comments, and DMs, amplify each other. When your sequence is active, the process of nurturing is the same. You just go to this feed daily or several times per week, and you just process through the feed. But when people reply to you, it's advised to move them to a different list. To do so, you can go here, click three dots, move prospect to another list, and you can create separate lists for your convenience. Like, for example, I have low priority leads for monthly engagement. I have high priority leads that I'm working on closing right now, which is weekly engagement. You can have just one list of I close those prospects manually. But why do you need a separate list from the cold outbound list? First of all, it's just for you to make things a little bit more organized. And second, it will help you with the cleanup, which we'll talk about a bit later. Okay, what if your prospect says that it's awesome that you're offering, but it's not a priority right now? So we should be able to move them to a long-term nurture. So we should have the process of consistently making the touch points with people who might want to buy our product or service like a year from now. So what we do in Extrovert, we actually utilize the two simple things, comments and DMs. The only difference from warming up is the time frame. So if we when we do a warm up with the prospect, when we have the cold sequence, we usually go with weekly cadences. So we usually want to drop one comment per week, regardless of how often does the person post. If they post every day, if they post once per month, we try to maintain weekly touch points with them. But with long-term nurture, weekly is a little bit too much. It's a little bit too much for them. It's a little bit too much for us. So we can go monthly or even bi-monthly. And you just need to comment consistently. You just need to DM consistently. You can share your news. You can share any kind of resources and just be helpful in comments and in your content. Long-term nurture is essentially the same process. The only difference is that you have a different list, like you have a cold list for your cold prospects and long-term nurture list for your long-term. And the other thing that is different is desired frequency. For your cold prospects, you want to go weekly. For your long-term, you want to go bi-monthly. So you apply different filters and you go with the same process though. So you can treat those filters as a Swiss knife for different engagement strategies, aiming for different groups of your prospects. And the last part is list cleanup. So what happens if the person is unresponsive, right? So we did everything we could. Our sequence has ended. They haven't accepted our connection request. They haven't replied to us. And what do we do? So we probably should move on. And this is a process, this is a very important process where we should be able to clean up everything and rotate our leads so that we can consistently maintain the specific number of leads per week that we want to reach out to. For example, on LinkedIn, there is a limit of 200 connection requests per week that you can do if you have a Sales Navigator account. So how do we consistently rotate those 200 so that we utilize the limits to full extent? So to do so, you can just go to your campaign and actually delete the whole initial list that you created for your outreach. Why we can do this? Because when prospects reply to you, you move them to permanent lists. So either it's a not now list with bi-monthly touch points, or it's high priority with weekly, or it's low priority with bi-weekly, or whatever structure you come up with. The main part is that the time that the prospect replied to you, you move them to a permanent list. And when the sequence ends, you know that in the initial list, there will be only people who didn't reply. So you can just safely delete the whole list and forget about them and upload another one and continue on this batch. We are also developing the API right now, and we will be able to delete the lists automatically with the webhook coming from your outreach tool. So say you will be able to make a scenario that the outreach tool will trigger the webhook after 30 days they haven't accepted your connection request or they didn't reply to your sequence, and we will automatically delete the list, delete the lead from extrovert. So this is another way to do it. So just to recap, the actual strategy is super simple. You just play in the long game, you utilizing comments, posts, and DMs and making them work together and amplify each other. And you can do it consistently and systematically as a team. The results you can expect are actually pretty crazy. You can expect connection acceptance rates raise from 30 to 70%. You can expect reply rates raise from 8, 10 to 50%, and meeting book rate from like say 3 to 16%. So if you do it systematically and if you introduce actual systems and tools that allow your team to do it in a consistent manner, it's actually not a lot of effort, but the results are like 4, 5 times better than you would just do it traditional way. So I hope this was useful. Let me know. Please hit me up on LinkedIn with any questions or feedback. Always happy to chat, and have a fantastic day. Thank you.